All right, my fellow YouTubers. Today we are back to the wheel. Ed the Escalon's replica. Yeppers. Well, we've been working on this thing off and on for about 2 years now. And today we are going to put water inside the cavity here. I got myself a nice little aluminum can in the middle. I put a bag around the inside because obviously it's not watertight in there. And we're going to just take a look at a couple things here. Got my voltmeter, capacitor, and I got my rotating water. Well, just like I thought, when you get water in motion like that and you put magnets around it, what do you think it's going to do, guys? Leave it on the comments. Leave it on the comments. Yep. Leave it on the comments. Look at that water build up on the sides. It definitely takes that vortex look about it, because it works its way up to the sides because the water's getting pushed out. Water drops in the center. You see the levels of the water in the very beginning. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the voltmeter on. I'm going to set it on millivolts DC. I have the negative to ground. And then what I did, because my block's not sitting on the ground like Ed the Escalon's, so technically my block is not grounded. So I got a battery cable going from my pipe, ground pipe, coming around and connected to the motor block. Now, one thing I noticed with the motor block, if you take a compass, let's work the motor block here. So basically, right here we're looking at South Pole. We're looking at South Pole. Then as you get right past that middle, the bottom of the block becomes North Pole. Bottom block, true north, down bottom. So one thing I wanted you guys to know, that the block is really an essential part of what's going on in the makeup of this whole apparatus. So the bottom, and I'm just in front of the cylinders, you know, you got north, north, you get to the center, that's, what does that tell you guys? That this motor block seems to be sort of like a coil, where it has a middle ground. You see that? You see that moving, right guys? Come up to the middle, goes right, and go down. So you can see that. So basically, with that being said, get all rotating fields, okay? Basically, with that being said, I could take this ground and I could disconnect the ground, and let's see what's going on. Bam. Okay, you can see it's south, south, get to the middle, she's going to turn, bam. Well, I can face that way and that'd be the north, and it comes up top as south. So it's sort of the opposite of what it should be. So I can take this ground and I can move it up and down, and what it does is it definitely put it in the middle there, so it doesn't alter anything up top. But when you move that ground around, I'm going to show you with the voltmeter, bam, that's what happens here. So alright, so here we are, we're going to touch the water, and you can see the voltmeter is going over the millivolts. Okay, so I'm just touching the water, take it out of the water. Let's Watch it go there, it'll go down. Dropping, 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 right? Okay, now 4. Let's go ahead and stick it on the can, the aluminum, and let's see what happens. These are millivolts. Now I want you to notice that the aluminum can took on a negative. So basically, your aluminum turned negative. Look at that. So basically, it caught up and jumped over. Now when you go down to the water, touch the water, you come up to be a positive. Now she's blowing over it. So basically, you can see the separation in the positive and negative between this here being a positive and the aluminum becoming a negative. And I believe it's because the metal rod that's the shaft that's coming up is grounded down bottom, and that's why that does that. But let's go ahead and take the ground off. Okay, let's disconnect the ground so the motor block itself is not grounded, it's airborne. Let's go ahead and touch the can again. Still negative, still negative. Riding high on millivolts. And then let's go ahead and touch the water. And then you can see that we're also negative. So I took the ground off of the motor block, and the water seems to be holding a negative charge, and the aluminum is a negative charge. So the two poles aren't separating like they were when I had the ground set up. Pretty interesting stuff, huh guys? So we're gonna go back over here. Let's, instead of hooking it up in the middle, let's go down bottom here. I set it down bottom. Now down bottom was north, right? So that was a negative. Well, north, negative be positive. So now we're gonna go back. Let's look. We're gonna go back. You see it's zeroed out. Nothing's going on. I do have the one leg hooked up to the ground on the rod, and we are going to go ahead and touch the aluminum, and you can see that we're holding a negative charge on the aluminum can. Okay, just what I thought. Now we're gonna go ahead and touch the water, and we're gonna see the water become a positive charge. So basically, because we went ahead and we grounded out the motor block itself, we actually created two charges. Of course, we know that all these magnets here probably help a lot too on the process. But let's get the water moving. Let's get the water in a little, get it in motion. And let's go ahead and let's stick some voltmeter in this sucker. Get that going. Pretty nice looking thing, huh guys? So we're gonna go ahead and stick this in without getting myself caught up on the rods. We got it in the water, and we can see it's a positive. Definitely a positive. And then you definitely can see that the aluminum becomes negative. Something else I want to show you guys. The reason I even did this was two things. A year ago or so, somebody said, put water in the middle, yada, yada, yada. And just recently I started going back over my videos and looking at the comments, because I usually don't go back and look at stuff that I did. And sometimes I'm embarrassed. Maybe I drank a little bit or whatever. I don't do drugs, like some out there claim. But anyway, I you know, a little embarrassed. But you know what? I don't know anything. As far as, you know, what a lot of engineers and stuff know, the logistics of things. But I know they're not out there playing with toys like this. They're out there being blindsided by what they're taught. One thing I want to show you that's really important. I'm going to take this capacitor, and let's go ahead and Let me see, what do we do with this capacitor? We are just touching capacitor. Now the problem with this is, let's go ahead and hit the, see, this aluminum's touching ground. So what I want to do is get it off of the ground, okay, and put it over here. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but we are going to try a couple things. We're going to put this is going to be tough, guys. I'm putting the voltmeter on the positive side of the capacitor. I want you to look at the voltmeter, and I want you to, well, voltmeter's getting blown out, so let's do this. Let me, with my other hand, put the voltmeter up. It's on DC, by the way. And right now, you guys are seeing capacitor. I want to show you guys what happens when you get the water in motion. Watch the voltmeter, guys. All I'm doing is giving the water motion inside this capacitor. Look at that. Look at the numbers change. The numbers are moving. And basically I'm running off the positive. The ground's going to the ground. I'm not connected to the outside part of this capacitor, just the inside. And one thing I want you guys to notice, now look, now I disconnected it. Disconnected. I'm going to change this over to AC. Let's see what AC does with the capacitor. Is there anything going on? Let's go ahead and move the capacitor around. Let's get that water in motion. You don't see much. And that's what I kind of figured. It's more of a DC thing. So we're going to go ahead and put it on volts. DC volts. We're going to go ahead and just touch the top, the positive. You can see it's showing a negative, right? So basically we're going to go ahead and touch the side of the capacitor, which would be normally would be the ground side. And we are going to put the water in motion. And look when I put the water in motion. Look what happens. Oh, drop my voltmeter. When you put the water in motion, you can see that it starts creating energy there. Well, it's a little hard, guys, because it's one hand, one camera. Probably guys are getting damn dizzy. Going back to what you got there. Going back to the wheel here. It's pretty interesting about the water in motion inside the wheel. You guys got any comments on what you're thinking? You can see the water itself moving out, with centrifugal force. It's doing its thing. See that? It's coming to negative. The can inside is a negative. Water is a negative. Can inside's a negative. Everything's grounded. Anyway, you guys, working on the wheel. You guys have a good day. Thank you. Bye.